My name's Mckendree Mike Long, and I'm the author of this novel, No Good Like It Is, which is Civil War historical fiction. And in it, my two protagonists meet before the war, suffer through the war, barely make it, and then the second half of the book is these two fellows trying to make it home to Texas when the war's over. Chapter 20 occurs just after the battle at Fort Pillow, Tennessee, and a couple of folks have been wounded, and the main protagonist, Dobie Walls, has been sent to Atlanta, to the hospital, with a couple of his soldiers. This is toward the end of their stay at the hospital. They've been visiting the Chateau Blanc, which is the second best brothel in Atlanta. They finally ran short of money and excuses. The cash disappeared quickly once Hunter and Jones were able to get passes from the hospital and began to spend time at Marie Laval's White House. Before the war, Dave Hunter raised hunting dogs outside of Houston. At Chateau Blanc, he settled in with Linda, who loved most animals. She kept a small dog, Poco Charlie, in her room. For anyone other than Hunter, some of Charlie's lickings might have been considered inopportune as to timing and location. Kathy the compounder and her cousin Bridget adopted the wild man Jones. In the last week, a stream of well-dressed, well-heeled staff officers, bootleggers, and merchants were humiliated as Bridget passed them up for Jeff's energy and humor. Kathy brought experience to the table, as well as painkillers and a salve to help with his facial scar tissue. The same men pouting over Jones' good fortune also deeply resented Dobie. "What's that lieutenant got that we don't have?" a passed-over lumber broker moaned. "Let's see. Youth, fearlessness, good looks, and Madame Marie Laval. Not a damn thing that I don't wish I had." The colonel shook his head and patted the arm of the skinny young whore he had settled for. Spacer. There were invariably women present for the train departures from Atlanta. Seldom was the platform so graced with well-dressed beauties as it was this morning. Kathy and Bridget sobbed over Jones, begging him to desert and let them take care of him. Linda cried softly, telling Hunter she'd go to Texas with him if he'd let her. She'd help him with them dogs. Promise. Even though they was trained to hunt other poor animals and birds. Marie Laval stood regally, holding Dobie's arm and staring fiercely at the women who snubbed her, and smiling inside when men pretended not to know her. Several men were openly polite, realizing that with Dobie's departure they might once again have a chance. Old Bill touched her arm. "Ms. Laval, that lady there, the one in the blue dress, she asked can she come speak with you." He twisted his hat in his hands. "Says she don't want to bother you. She seemed nice." Marie smiled and nodded to the woman, a slim, well-dressed matron. The woman approached and nodded to Dobie. "Lieutenant, Madame Laval, I apologize for the intrusion and the rudeness of some of our citizens. I felt that I must speak. I believe that it was you that sent the food and clothing and money to the orphanage last Christmas. I recognized your Negro as a delivery man. I had long suspected it." Pale, almost fragile, her smile was refreshing. Laval and Dobie were taken aback. Recovering somewhat, Laval said, "I heard that there was such a gift and that it was supposed to be anonymous." There was a brief impasse as the matron's head bobbed and tears welled up. Kathy whispered to Jeff and Bridget, "Ms. Laval was an orphan, you know. She ain't really French." The woman reached out and touched Marie's arm. "Yes, it was, which makes the gift both gracious and generous. As a trustee, I can assure you that it was one of the most generous gifts we've ever received. Perhaps, if you learn the identity of our benefactress, you could simply assure her that she has a friend in Mrs. Betty Todd. My card, Madame Laval." As he boarded, Laval kissed him and whispered, "It's Brendan." "What?" "Brendan. Sue Brendan. Don't tell, but don't forget," she sniffled. "It's Irish. I ain't really French." Kathy elbowed Jeff. "You see? Orphan. Told you so." Spacer. "Maybe we can get hit again and come back." Sergeant Jones was pensive as the train pulled away. They waved again at the women. As they steamed north, Dobie opened a basket and passed out fried chicken legs. "It ain't going to be the same. Even if we do get back here, it won't ever be the same.